We're here. We made it. It is finally episode 1 of the Claw Pod. My name is the AntMan, your host, sitting alongside Ross and Marshall von Erich. Can you believe the day is finally here? We finally made it to episode 1, guys.
Oh man, yeah, we long awaited. I know Ross has been freaking out. He won't stop blowing my phone up. 2 more days. One more day.
Yeah, one more day.
I've been pretty dramatic about it, guys.
Man, we've been talking about this. I mean, it's been a few weeks now since we made that first announcement that you're doing a brand new venture, a brand new show, brand new podcast. It's going to take you even deeper than probably you've ever been on a podcast before. This is the Claw Pod. Thank you guys for being here for episode number 1. If you're not following us anywhere yet, you can find us on all social media. Anywhere that you are, we're there too, at the Claw Pod. And if you're watching this right now on YouTube, go ahead and hit subscribe, like, and that notification bell because you don't want to miss an episode. We've got a lot planned and a lot coming up. I just this past Monday, let me start by saying this. This has got to be the best time to be a wrestling fan. What do you guys think?
Oh my
Dude, so much going on, man.
Try being a wrestler, man. Ross and I talk about that all the time. It's fun to right now. Of course, it'd be so fun to be a wrestling fan, but
sure,
we are fans, and we get to do this. This is so fun. It's so fun to be a wrestler because we're genuinely enjoying what's happening, and this is all like new. It's all new. Where wrestling is going, and I think both companies. I feel like it's just bringing more attention to pro wrestling, which is good.
Yep. Yeah, you say both, and I say almost all of them. I mean, right now, there's TNA has never been more on fire. AEW is setting records financially, and a brand new deal just with Max, which we'll talk about here in just a bit. But Monday night, it felt like WrestleMania with WWE's move away after 30 plus years on terrestrial TV or cable TV, I should say, on the USA Network. Now they've left USA before. They went to Spike and what have you in the past, but it was still on cable TV. No longer on cable TV. WWE Raw now on Netflix, and what an incredible night, full of so many surprises, full of so much fun. It felt I was talking with my buddy Michael over on the Wrestle Chat podcast, and we go into depth there. We're not going to do that here. We go into depth on what happened on Monday over there if you'd like to check that out. But I thought it felt in some ways bigger than WrestleMania. I mean, you get a WrestleMania every year, but you don't always get a shift in a medium. I mean, now we get to watch it, I think, in 4K.
Right.
It was going to go to 4K, Ross?
No, man. And, you got to give WWE some credit for they're always on the cutting edge of the front of, knocking down the door, as far as evolving the sport. And so, man, hats off to them. Super exciting stuff, man.
Dude, Ross, we were saying this earlier, how wrestling right now, because when we remember like the glory days, 80s, 90s, you think of Hulk Hogan, all that stuff, but right now, I feel like because of streaming and internet and all that stuff, more people are watching professional wrestling right now than ever.
No doubt.
So this is it's historical. Like everything we're seeing right now and witnessing, it's only going to get bigger too. That's what it feels like with just the power of the internet and the fact that it's hitting global. Like they're doing shows in Saudi Arabia. Like it is crazy where wrestling's at. It's super fun to be. Because we both feel like we're in the premature phases of our long journey career with pro wrestling too. I feel like it's a lot different than any other sport. You kind of hit your stride right around 30, 32, 33, and you start getting who you are, knowing who you are, and so we're in a good spot. I like where we're at right now.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, and just think back to your dad and your uncles. They were on the cutting edge at the time of the way wrestling was presented on television. Before then, even WWF or WWF at the time wasn't taking cameras inside the ring for announcer introductions or anything like that. That was happening in Dallas, Texas, and we're kind of seeing that next elevation on WWE Raw. And I heard Triple H, Paul Levesque, mention this, that with them now being on Netflix, more than 80% of the world is covered with WWE content.
It's unbelievable.
That's incredible.
The world.
See, that's good for everybody. I really believe it's good for everybody. You're bringing a new sport, a new source of entertainment to these new countries, and That's what I feel like. I feel like when you see these major cities without professional wrestling, which is also why Ross and I love, Israel so much, Tel Aviv, all that. You're like major city, and they love wrestling. It's worked. I mean, it's caused ceasefires and stuff in their countries, and so like you see India and these massive countries. I feel like we're going back in time, like Japan back in like the 80s or 90s. Japan, the way that wrestling was received was like, we still talk about it to this day, but I feel like those opportunities are right in front of everybody. And it just takes a few, gutsy promoters and wrestlers to go out there and do it.
Take that next step.
That next step. Yeah, but absolutely. I was going to ask you, this is kind of off topic, but do you remember when Giant Baba went to North Korea? They did a show in Anoki. Was it Anoki or?
Yeah, Anoki. Yeah.
Anoki. Yeah. That's taking the risk right there.
That's, exactly. Well, that's a little different risk than jumping over to Netflix.
Jeez,
You're getting into parts of the world without, for the most part, risking your life.
I
would say, So I will say everything from the production, just cutting edge, just next level. Just
100%.
I mean, you could tell, and I thought at some points while I was watching Raw or even SmackDown, in some instances, that I was like, man, we are just driving this move over to Netflix into the ground, and now I understand why.
Yeah.
Because now it's here. And what's cool is that, before I remember back in the Attitude Era days when you had both Raw and Nitro on, and you had to have the VCR set for one, and you hoping that you had enough tape that you get the overrun if there was one thing. You don't have to set a DVR or have a VHS tape set up now, that as soon as Raw is over, it's available just to watch on Netflix anytime that you want to.
Yeah.
So cool, man. And me and Marshall, we were kind of talking in passing, the 80s were, the golden era, larger than life, but if you think of as far as like the scale that they were doing things, I mean, they weren't reaching, even really close to the amount of people that they're able to reach now with the social media reach and everything. So,
great.
Technically, we're a lot closer than we might think to reaching at least the amount of people that the Von Erich name was able to reach, so, that's exciting for us as far as our, our purpose and our destiny.
His dad just mentioned that is we feel that there's a transition coming, and Ross and I, we really have felt this, our entire. And I was like, man, maybe everyone feels like this, but we know that there's a destination at the end of this, and it's definitely divine, ordained by God, because we've tried other things. We've cast our bread upon the water, things that that some work, some didn't, but this is the one thing we both knew we're doing the right thing by professional wrestling. It's in our blood and it feels natural.
Yeah. Not only is WWE making massive strides when it comes to programming and distribution with Netflix, but late last year in 2024, Tony Khan announced that not only would we be able to see Dynamite on a TNT, but we'd also get a chance to see it on Max. And not just a chance, but every single week at the exact same time. It's not only on cable, but it's also now on streaming. When we talk about how great wrestling is at the moment, things like that, seeing these two, the two biggest companies in wrestling right now, both take their production and take their distribution to the next level that encompasses just, so much of the audience and people who would love to have it but can't now have a chance to get it. And how do you see things moving along for AEW as they move over to the streaming side as well, Marshall?
I think Tony's a fighter, and he has something to prove, which is really, really exciting to be on his team. And he definitely has a lot of naysayers, people, which you're going to have people that take risks, get, that's the position they're in. It's easy to feel safe behind a keyboard, but it's guys that are, taking that risk, putting themselves in a position to get made fun of or whatever. But I think the direction professional wrestling is going is he's doing the right thing. It's TV, not saying TV is dead, but streaming, internet, that's where it's at. That's where the majority of the audience is. If you go to an airport, you go anywhere, everyone's on their phones. And so I'm so happy Tony's doing with this. He's moving with the times. He's the fact that he's willing, he's just a young mind and he's evolving with the crowd and the people, because that's what's going on. And so sink or swim, I think Tony is swimming along just fine, and AEW is in a good place.
Ross, let me ask you a question on this. We do still see some of the separation, but here's the deal: WWE's been around for a long, long time. What would you see that now with AEW moving up to streaming, and we'll get into you guys are the 6-man Ring of Honor tag champs along with Dustin Rhodes. We're going to get into all that. This is just episode 1. I'm just asking you here from the beginning, though. What do you see that Tony and the company need to do in, say, the next 2 to 5 years to kind of start inching up towards, I would say, if they're trying to be the same level or in the same ballpark as WWE?
I mean, if you look at the trajectory they're on, I mean, they've made some really strong, some really good moves, and there's really no formula. I think anybody knows how to stick to for success when you're just starting off a company like AEW. But I think they're kind of
real quick. That's what we got to remember. This is still a brand new company.
Exactly.
Very brand new.
Yeah. So they're just right now. I think they're really seeing where they fit in with the masses of wrestling fans, and they're kind of catering their style to the fan base, and it's exciting to watch, and this was obviously a big step for them. And,
huge, yeah,
dude, and man, it's so exciting.
We know what the answer is. Put Ross and Marshall Von Erich in a match at All In Dallas, main event, and it's the trajectory is going to go to a good spot. Maybe Kevin Von Erich will come out. Maybe with a retirement. I don't know.
Maybe somebody gets clawed, man.
Somebody's getting clawed.
Isn't that kind of guaranteed? Somebody gets
guaranteed.
Clawed?
Yeah.
I think so too.
It's pretty automatic being in Dallas for sure.
Since we're on the AEW train, it was first. Let's talk about this. Let's sort of rewind to like 6 years ago when we didn't have an AEW. All we had was what we were getting fed from WWE.
Yes.
It feels like holistically across the board, having both of these ultimately is really, really good for everyone. The fan,
yes,
the naysayers, the non-naysayers, the ones who are happy-go-lucky, and the ones who are down in the dumps. It is just great for everybody to have two successful companies. And I'm not purposefully leaving TNA out, because they are maybe more successful now than really than they were 6 years ago as well.
Yeah,
there was a time when I know guys, or heard guys, I don't know, that guys weren't getting paid or getting paid very late from TNA. Yeah. And now, I'm going to TNA Genesis coming up here in just a week or two in Dallas. Looking forward to going to that show, and it'll be my first TNA event. And you see them running stuff right and doing a great job. So seeing, going from, you just say just 5-6 years ago, we really just had WWE, and now we have options. And we have great storylines, and we have people moving in and out from one company to the other and making more money, which ultimately is, for you guys in the business, is the best thing, and more for us to talk about on a podcast like this. Yeah.
Man, and it's crazy too, but I almost have more respect for TNA. The fact that they've revived, the fact that
I agree
that's almost more impressive than anything, because their shows, they're putting on good shows, like big shows. And I've been wanting to go to a TNA event just to witness it, because something's changed. Something's happening.
There is. Yeah, for sure. I said we rewound 5-6 years ago. So from that point, let's fast forward to only just over a year ago. You guys sit down with me in Dallas at a hotel after your very first appearance at an AEW show. And I ask you guys this question. Friday, you had a match on Rampage. Tonight, you have an appearance, you're going to be wrestling on Collision, correct?
That's right.
Are Ross and Marshall all elite?
Hey, we'll see. We both know this, that.
Or is Tony Khan just very, very smart to do something with the Von Erichs in Dallas, Texas?
I don't know. Yeah, we both.
Or is it both?
We both feel like the trajectory is we're going to be at the top. We both know it and we feel it, and so we would rather All Elite Wrestling. We're proud of the product. We love everything that they're about, and and so we're this is what we're.
It would be a huge honor, to be a part of AEW, obviously.
Yeah, but no matter what, we feel like we're going to be at the top somehow, and we hope it's
with how everything has gone. We just feel like our time has come now. We are who we are now. Like we got the wrestling part down. We got legitimate. We really have our gimmick is like, it's not a gimmick. We're out to prove the family is not cursed.
Right.
My dad is we're gonna make him happy. By we want to succeed just for his sake, so he can see it. And it's so much deeper than just we want to get over.
Yeah.
We want him to see the fruits of his labor, raising us and believing in us, and my mom, telling us, you're gonna be great one day, just like all moms do that probably, but it's man, what a great opportunity and cool season we're coming into. We just feel like that big thing we've always been waiting for is like right here, right around the corner. And so yeah.
So now here we are, just a little over a year later from that question. Anything you guys would like to share?
Wow.
Yeah, wow. Ross is finally here.
It is, man. It is. Marshall, you can do the honors on this one.
Yeah. Well, I can't wait to share this amazing news with everybody. But to the people there's a lot of people that don't know, but this was a journey, and we got a hint of what it was about maybe 12 years ago on a rooftop in Japan. But we did not know God was going to take us this route, and how long it was going to take. But today, on this day, we can officially say the Ross and Marshall Von Erich are officially signed with AEW. And
look at that. There you go.
The 12-year journey has officially it's not an expensive hobby anymore.
Yeah, man. And the people that were there for the whole ride with us, man, we love you guys. And golly, the people that are supporting the podcast, and I'm happy for them,
man. Yeah. It's these people have supported us like family, because if you got to think about it, these people have watched us grow up. They've suffered with our family, and they've been a part of us. And so our identity is in, these people, they're us, and we can represent them on that main stage. And, Ross and I know, and people that know us, that wrestling is a tool, before we're wrestlers, before we're anything, we're followers of Christ, and we're not your cookie cutter Christians. My dad wasn't taking us to church and all that stuff growing up. It was, my dad was on the road. He was on the road quite a bit. And so we watched a real man have a relationship with God. And that so much shaped us, the kind of men that we are. We watched my dad suffer. We watched him go through just the peaks and valleys of life, looking up in the sky, and he was talking to somebody. And as a kid, I had no doubt that there was a God, because the way my dad communicated with him, I was like, there's something up there, and he's talking to it 100%.
Yeah.
And my dad instilling that into us, put in that, the work ethic, to not give up, and having a brother to go through this with. I realized the importance of a brother pretty early, just from my dad and his story, and watching how he cherishes life, and then getting to go on the road with my brother and go to these towns and being scared and not knowing what to expect, and growing up, being little kids, and becoming men together, on the road. And no one can share these stories with me except for my brother. There's these secret stories in the darkest part of your mind, way back there, and somebody was there to witness it with me and go through it with me. And my dad have that, and to lose it, to have 5 of those and lose it, I just have more respect for my dad more now than ever.
Yeah, Ross, let me ask you. You guys you've had some success in the past. You've been champions before. Yeah, probably the most notable is MLW. Here today, now being All Elite, how different does this feel?
This is it. This is kind of like the thing I feel like we've been working towards our whole careers, and we knew it would be on a big major scale, and this meets every parameter of that, with all the places they're going all over the world. They were in Tokyo the other day, and we're in the UK last year, and man, it's just it means a lot for the Von Erich family, and it means a lot for not to kiss Tony's butt, but he kind of single-handedly is keeping the Von Erich name, the Von Erich dream alive for us at this point. And man, I can't, he's going to have our loyalty forever because of that. But more than anything, we're super excited. And this day we've dreamt about for so long, it's finally here. And it's,
you've got a four-legged friend that's excited too. Is that yours or is that mine?
He's a Von Erich fan right there, baby.
I think it's mine. I don't
know if y'all just witnessed what I did, but I basically was in a ninja fight with my son Archie to get on the camera.
Okay.
And so I was sitting there.
If he's there, come on in.
Everybody's
got him out.
You got him out of there?
I had to treat him like Chucky a little bit. I gave him a Spartan kick. I don't really know where he went.
Spartan kick.
You do what you got to do.
Oh, come on.
Well, guys, this is incredibly exciting.
I can't believe you just made that announcement. That was huge. That was really big. 12 years.
It's official. It's official. Okay. Ross and Marshall are all elite. All right. So let me ask you this then. What does 2025 look like for you guys? You going to be on the road? Obviously you're going to be on the road.
Yeah.
You're the Ring of Honor 6-man tag champs with Dustin Rhodes. I'm sure you've got some defenses coming up, right?
Well, so storyline wise, we came to AEW to protect our brother. He had a target on his back. We came in, and our personal interests were not at factor. Of course, personally, Ross and I, we strive to be the greatest tag team in professional wrestling, and so we want the biggest accolade you can get, which is the AEW Tag Team Champion. So, but right now our brother had a target on his back. So we put all of our, any selfish wants away, and that's what we were here for. And so now that we're all elite, we want to honor our word and fulfill our promise with Dustin, however long that takes, because Dustin, my dad, he's instilled in us is, you take care of the people that came before you, show respect to the people that come before you. And Dustin is he's our ring general. He's the boss. While Dustin's in that locker room, that's who we answer to, and that's who we'll pay our respects to. And him and Sammy, we consider them like brothers. And so
another Texas boy too.
Yeah, exactly.
Sammy Guevara.
The Sons of Texas, which we also help with that name, but since I got hurt, they got to use it more, but we miss them. We want to be a part of it really bad. So we're coming back. Speaking
of, you got hurt. How are you feeling right now?
I'm 100%. So I was hurt. I was hurt in September 25th. I partially ripped my pec. And so, Ross and I have been training like crazy. And so I honestly feel like I'm in the best shape I've ever felt. I needed to lose some weight. Anyway, I was getting pretty heavy, but I was just bulking up, and I was overdoing it to a point where my muscles were getting really tense. And so it's good for me to be a little lighter so I can stretch and be flexible, because I'm naturally a pretty stiff person anyway. So it was good. It was good. We found the good in it.
You're good. Ross, how are you feeling, bud? You got a little time off while your brother had some time off.
Yeah, man. I think it was good just to like kind of recalibrate.
A lot of journaling.
Yeah. Journaling. Yeah. That
journaling.
Yeah. But it's just, sometimes you need the time off to just kind of get your head back. And, me and Marshall got some time to go, train at Hybrid in San Antonio and just try some new things. And, that's been fun, so we're excited to get back in there. We're itching to get back, but at the same time, we don't want to rush Marshall's injury. We've been known to rush things in the past. So, when he's all healed up and ready to go, we're
going to do it the right way.
We got the bar set pretty high. Yeah. Yeah. Going for gold, man. It's going to be a big year for the Von Erichs.
February 11th. I know you can actually sleep in your own bed that night, because AEW is coming to the HEB Center in Cedar Park. So just a couple of hours from where you guys are. It'd be nice to sleep in your own bed and go to work.
Beautiful.
I can't imagine. I can't imagine. I know tickets are on sale for that right now. So if you're anywhere close to the Austin area, if you're Dallas, San Antonio, anywhere in between, it's going to be a great show, and you should grab some tickets for that show. And I don't know, you might see some familiar faces. Maybe.
That's right. Anthony, I'm sorry. You're throwing me off because you're so good at this. You have the voice. You're made podcast, man. I was like, geez, he couldn't be better at this.
Well, I'll tell you this. I appreciate that, and I've spent the majority of my life now in the radio business, and
I can tell.
I've worked for iHeart since Louise, maybe my sophomore year in college, freshman year in college, something like that. It was Clear Channel then, and now I still do just on the back end, not on the air. I'm an executive producer for an overnight show called After Midnight with Granger Smith. So I still have my hands in all of it, and I've kind of moved, just some of the stuff I've learned over here to the podcasting side. So when you guys called, I mean, how could I say no? I grew up with your dad and uncles. I say I grew up with them. That's what my Saturdays were. They were all centered around, I'll tell you that, and I don't know, you're not going to do this now, or at least I hope you're not, is that on Saturday night, grab a bag of Fritos and a can of bean dip and some other candy and a Dr. Pepper and wait for World Class Championship Wrestling to come on.
That sounds amazing.
Every Saturday night.
That's amazing Saturday night. That's man.
Yeah, you really set the scene there, and I love
when
that.
When he said Dr. Pepper, awesome. I was like, everybody shut up.
Dude, how wasn't that similar to how, when we were watching the Monday Night Wars, me and Marshall growing up, we're in elementary school, and we would get all the snacks out. Me and my friends would talk about it, all day at school, and then beat up our little brothers right before it came on, and then everybody shut up when it was on, and then
going through every cardboard box in the house, every piece of styrofoam.
Well, and think about this too. You had to go to school the next day. So when it was over at 10:15 or whatever, then you went to bed. This was thankfully World Class Championship Wrestling was on Saturday night, and on Channel 11. And so Southern Oklahoma, where I grew up, we got the Dallas TV stations. So we got to watch it every Saturday night.
That's awesome. And on Saturday too, that's so appropriate. You watch it, fall asleep. Next day you wake up, you're talking about it with that's perfect. That is perfect.
And you can stay up late doing it. It doesn't matter. It's the weekend.
You can stay up late, man. That's right. Yeah, and we always had to sneak it too, because we weren't allowed to watch WWF anyway. So
it was Attitude Era.
Quiet. Yeah, exactly.
Well, and that's not that had nothing to do with your family being in the business. That had to do with your parents being responsible parents.
Yeah, exactly.
True. In that mom mostly, I
remember telling mom, I was like, why can't we watch this? And literally on the cover was that swimming suit edition where she just had the hands because the bathing suit,
the latex handprint.
Yeah. And I was like, it's just, and I was like,
it's not all like that, okay?
Yeah.
A lot of it is.
Yeah. 8-year-old kid trying to argue.
Be honest. A lot of it is. Yeah. I'll tell you what, I'm excited to be doing this with you guys. Some of the stuff that we have coming up. I put up a poll. If you're watching this right now on YouTube, first, thank you. And if you haven't yet, hit subscribe and like and that notifications bell so you never miss an episode that we do, which drops every Thursday here and everywhere you love to listen to podcasts. But on there, I asked a poll what you want to get out of as a viewer, as a listener, as a fan, what you want to get out of this podcast. And I think here's what it looks like. And I love that it was basically a mix of them all that everybody was looking forward to. So we're going to talk about the current product. We're going to talk about the old product. We're going to talk about stuff that only you guys see, that you're willing to share and maybe have permission to share from behind the scenes while you guys are out on the road with AEW, and then anything else that comes. Celebrity interviews, I know people like those, and they mentioned those and voted for those, but mainly it was the mix of it all. So sweet. We hope you enjoy this podcast. Now I'll tell you this, we'd love for you to also ask your questions. We're gonna have a feature at the end of every episode that will give you an opportunity to ask questions. So if you'd like to drop an email, it's theclawpod@gmail.com, or you can just reply to just in the comments section of this video. You can leave your question for next week. We're also on X, we're on Instagram, we're on TikTok, and now on Twitch. I don't quite know how Twitch works, I'm just being honest, but we'll get there, okay? And when we do figure it out, we'll be there on Twitch as well. So if you're a big Twitcher, I don't know if that's even a word. I just showed my age today. It should be. That and watching World Class on Saturday night as a kid. That may have done it. That may have done it too. But we'd love to hear from you guys. What do you want to see? What questions do you have? Let's just start with signing that AEW contract. What do you want to know about the guys being all elite now? Let's start with that. That's the question for this week. Ask your questions, and we'll answer those next week, or these guys will answer those next week on the pod. So, less than right around 30 minutes for our very first episode. That sound like a good one for you guys?
Short and
I
sweet,
loved
yeah,
it.
man.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
I think we hit it all. We hit Raw on Netflix. We hit AEW on Max. We talked about you guys with your brand new signing, and kind of touched on what 2025 might look for you guys. So,
Anthony, you made that so easy. Gosh.
Excited to jump into this more. So, hope you guys will join us next Thursday here on the podcast. Make sure you hit subscribe and never miss an episode. We'll see you then.